Oh, hello.
Ni hao. Good
Hello.
morning from the west and the east. We got Pablo
Cool, cool,
Heyman
cool.
here, PN and Friends podcast, co-founder, my partner. Big things going on, Paul.
Well, yeah, the 250th year of America, and congratulations, happy birthday to all Americans and all spiritual Americans. And as I said in my Discord, this is an incredible achievement. I don't usually say hello or Merry Christmas. I think it's up to your freedom to celebrate or not celebrate. But this is really quite an achievement, quite incredible. However, there's a lot of rumors going around that saying the Trump administration might take this opportunity to revalue gold or bring out bonds, U.S. Treasury bonds that are backed by gold because of the crisis that's happening right now, crisis of confidence in U.S. Treasury bonds. If you guys heard a lot about that in your political circles?
I mean, this gold situation is pretty crazy. I mean, right now, what I've been hearing, what I've been looking at a lot is actually the how rich the biggest trader in crypto got was Trump. Which I
Yeah.
want to talk to you about.
Oh, yeah. Go
But
on.
please, I don't want to finish your train of thought. Go ahead,
No, no,
finish.
no. Please tell us how rich Trump got in crypto.
I mean, I don't know. I just find it incredibly rich, that we have Nancy Pelosi, she gets rich. Ro Khanna, she gets rich. Democrats, they
Yeah,
get rich with
yeah,
stocks.
yeah,
But then it's almost like many Republicans, and I said I support Trump, and I said he's my president. I support it. I
yeah.
support anyone who's my president. But
Uh,
I think the fact that he got away with such outlandish returns and there's no investigation is just such a breakdown of our
it, it,
society.
I'm starting to like your political podcast more and more because you used to be like very right wing, and I was like, okay, well, look, I'm not against right wing folks, I'm not against left wing folks. I'm just I'm an issues type of voter, and then you keep on saying the things that I agree with. You keep on saying stuff like oh this is incredible. We used to think Nancy Pelosi was bad, and then suddenly Trump, whatever she made in 25 years of trading, Trump made more than her in 1 year. That's a fact, right? I mean, it's for a guy who voted for Trump, who's promoting Trump, like that. That's actually a fact. We can't deny that, right? I mean, you can
Yeah, I
fact
mean,
check me.
the fact that like I'm just pulling this up now. I mean, it's just like, bro, like it's one thing if you took a little bit of profit. I understand there's inherently corruption in politics. I'm not stupid. It's just that,
Yeah.
when you're earning $1 billion or $550 million, I mean, that's just an excess amount,
What's
you know.
what's brutal is this. So of the 2.2 billion that he made in his first year, compared to all presidents, Republicans and Democrats in the last 30 years, is basically like those presidents made zero trades. What they do is they basically give their stock portfolio to a fund manager, and they say, I don't want to know anything about it. And I think Gerald Ford, President Ford, had a farm. It was some kind of like a avocado farm or something, and he gave that farm to some trust manager to manage. He says, "Once I become president for the next 4 or 8 years, I want nothing to do with any decision that's ever made. Right? Profit, draw, or loss, it's up to you guys now." So, whereas Trump in his first term made 50 trades, which is pretty good, only 50 trades in 4 years. But in his second term, he's basically going for broke, man. He's going for broke. In 1 year, he did 3,600 trades in 1 year. That's, if you average that down, that's 10 trades per day. And yet the stock market's not open on Saturday and Sundays and holidays. So basically, he's making more than 10 trades per day that the stock market is open. Imagine, like, that's very productive for a guy who does trade. Like, I'm like, wow, that's very active as a day trader. Like, I know if you did more than 10 trades a day, how much that would affect your work. You'd have to be doing this almost full time. And for a guy who's running the country, running the world, where does he get the time to do this? Anyways, it's crazy.
I mean, a lot of
Yeah.
people lost. I think a lot of Americans lost their money, and it's. I mean, what do you think's happening for crypto in the United States after this? I mean, do you think what do you envision? Do you envision more? What's this mean for the day trader
What
after you
what
see
is
this?
crazy is actually this. So of the 2.2 billion he made, 600 million came from stocks, which is fine because the stock market is huge. It's huge, And if the stock market is hitting a new all-time high, Nasdaq is up, Spider ETF, SP 500 is up. But what's crazy is out of the 2.2 billion, 1.6 billion that he made is from crypto. Is from his mostly from his own meme coin. We all know crypto and Bitcoin's done this down like 90%. And crypto is only 3 trillion. It's 2 trillion. It's much smaller than the stock market. And yet the bulk of his profits came from crypto. When people are like losing 90%, he's made so much. Most of it from crypto, and he made it from his own meme coin, which is the shocking part.
Pablo, you're a former investment banker, institutional trader. You've done it for decades. What's the possibility? What's the math? And you also are a math wizard. You got a math scholarship. What's the mathematical probability that Donald Trump was that good as a day trader, despite no previous history in his whole career that, is like more than 5 decades of work?
We can go through his tax returns.
As he's president of the United States, what is the mathematical probability that he did that fair and square with no corruption?
We can go through his tax returns, because the Democrats have combed through his tax returns. Remember the Democrats were trying to get Trump, and they're still trying to get him. So I'm not trying to be biased. I'm just saying this is what Democrats did to Trump. They basically went through his tax returns, and he said, "Oh, he didn't pay taxes in this year. He paid less taxes in the year for this stretch of 5 years between what was it, 92 to 97, less than the average taxpayer American out there." Like there's plenty of stories like this. We all know what his tax returns look like. If you look through all of it, it shows Trump making money trading stocks or investing stocks, especially this often, like trading every day, 10 times a day, is zilch. It's nothing, nada, zero. He didn't make any profits trading in and out like this often. He probably made a little bit of money holding like some bank stocks or some Coca-Cola stocks for the long term, like 5-10 years, while holding the Nasdaq index ETF for 5 or 10 years, right? He probably did that, but trading this often and winning this often, this much to this scale, never. And then he becomes the United States president. For the first term, as I said, didn't make that much. Second term makes so much. Like you just have to be like wondering mathematically. I would say with a certainty, that's this 0.0001% chance he suddenly became the best trader in the world as he became the U.S. president in the second term. There's a clip out there. He even says this. He says, "My kids buy a lot of stocks. They sometimes they invest on the secondary market, which is when you buy stocks, and they buy on the primary market, which is when you invest as a VC, right? You know all about that. You're a private equity guy." So he says, and they get so much information from me. Even if they go buy a bus, right? They already know that bus company is going to benefit from the policies from me or not. So he didn't quite finish that sentence, but he basically said, "My kids buy a lot of things, and so many things they buy, they already know beforehand if my policy is going to benefit them or not." He didn't finish that sentence, but you can search it. I think he just did an interview in the last 24 or 48 hours. He said something like that. Like it's hard when you are in that position. It's hard to avoid conflict of interest. It's hard not to buy something when you and you like everything they buy. They're like, "Oh, dad's doing this. Oh, dad's doing that." And like you can't just avoid it. It's difficult to avoid it. That's why he makes 3,600 trades a year. That clip's out there. You guys can all search for it.
So I'm reading this on The Guardian. It says, according to a 900-page document released on Tuesday by the U.S. Office of Government Ethics, in all, the U.S. president made more than $2.2 billion last year. He benefited from a vast global network of investments and businesses that range from real estate and golf courses to royalty deals and Trump-branded products such as cologne. He also took tens of millions of dollars in court settlements. And then it says, in his second term, the president and his family have invested heavily in digital money and crypto businesses, with Trump announcing at the start of last year that he wanted the U.S. to be the crypto capital of the world. He has received about $1.1 billion from his World Liberty Financial and CIC Digital LLC businesses, which sell governance tokens and souvenir type Meme coins stamped with his face. Critics accuse him of selling access to the presidency. Now when as a crypto trader, do you think what do you think is coming to the business in general when the president of the United States is selling governance tokens and meme coins? Do you think it's more regulation or less regulation, or like what's practically coming out of this?
What's practically coming out of this? Look, as soon as Trump was elected, I said, you know how people in the crypto business, they say it's altcoin season, or they say it's Bitcoin season. That means Bitcoin's going up, altcoins not moving much. Where altcoin season is altcoins outperform Bitcoin. When Trump got elected, and again, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican. I said to my Discord, I said, it's crime season. Like, I know this sort of shit is going to go on. I said, it's crime season. Meaning that if you had crazy ideas, if people ask me, this is how honest I've been with people. Because, I have like 1 million followers on, if we add up different platforms, and people say, Pablo, you should launch a meme coin. Pablo, you should launch a meme coin. I'm like, why would I do that? I said, you're going to make so much, right? You distribute it to make sure each person in your Discord gets like a small portion, and we all get rich together. I'm like, I know, but I'm not going to do it. And I've never done it, right? I know you get rich by pumping your own meme coin, like what Trump did, like this Ansem guy. Ansem, he's doing that right now, right? I just said, it's dumping on other people. It's just pump and dump. Like, yeah, it doesn't require any brains. It's basically dumping on your followers. I just don't do that, right? If I do promote a coin, I tell you this is a promotion. And in my Discord, I've never actually officially promoted any coin in the Discord. If I talk about it, I just say, I think this coin's actually going to do well, but this is part of a promotion, so ignore it, right? But if it does go up like 30x, just know that I told you guys about it here already. Don't complain that Pablo didn't talk about it. So basically, like, it's the easiest thing to do in the world. But once Trump started doing it, it gave the okay to all the celebrities. Then you see Andrew Tate. You say, who's Easy Azalea? Is that her name? Is that how you pronounce it?
Iggy Azalea, yep.
Yeah, and that boxer, what's his name? Floyd Mayweather. All those guys came in. Snoop, all those guys came in with their own meme coins because they all thought, hey, this is what do you call open season. This is open season, like duck season, rabbit season, right? This is open season. Once Trump does it, everyone can do it. You think he would have at least tried to create a Bitcoin season or an altcoin season, get the Clarity Act passed so that altcoins at least have a run. And that's your way of paying back your followers and the people who your sponsors. When he ran for that political campaign, a lot of crypto guys actually invested in him, right? So if you can get the Clarity Act passed and you took 1.6 billion out of the community, people would forgive you for that. But at least create some sort of bullish policies so that there would be a bull run in crypto space, but there's no bull run.
So in regards to, I know we started out the conversation. We're going to talk about the gold and the debt situation. So
yeah,
I'm reading this headline by Jessica Wong. She says in this article, she says Trump's $5 million gold card Visa was pitched as a debt solution for the 39 trillion debt.
Yeah,
but only one has reportedly sold so far. So what's going on here, man? Because I what's going on in general with this gold debt?
Only one? Who did they sell that to? Oh my god. Okay, so first of all, I just want to finish off by saying that I think Bitcoin is bottoming above 55,000. Most people say, oh, it's a 4-year cycle, and Bitcoin would therefore bottom in October this year, November this year, at 30 or 40,000. They could be right. They could be right if Bitcoin follows the exact 4-year cycle pattern. But I think everyone is expecting that. This is very easy to calculate. So 4 years bottom from 2022, that was the last bottom. So that would be October, November this year. So I'm saying, I think we bottomed kind of this summer. We're going to bottom early. So that means everyone's going to be front run and everyone's going to miss the bottom. And I think we bottom above 55K.
So would you say that gold and Bitcoin both benefit from the same macro environment, or does one have to win?
No, not one has to win. They kind of both benefit from the same macro environment. It's two sides of the same coin. Now, with Trump's gold card, I mean, like, He's trying to solve the 39 trillion debt problem for $5 million to pay just for a gold card to get into the US. Only one has been sold so far, so it's such a failure. I don't think it's worth your time or my time talking about it. But he has been talking about a golden gift to the United States. That's his own tweet. He says a golden gift to the United States for its 250th year. And a lot of people, can you see that properly?
Yeah.
Can folks see that properly? Yeah, it's basically a golden eagle, right? So there was a lot of debate about this, a lot of rumors, because this golden eagle is not just a random eagle. That's actually at the bottom. Like if you can see my searches at the bottom, it's actually what they call a freedom flyer. Freedom flyer is basically an eagle you put on the top of your door, or you put on the top of your garage once you pay off your mortgage. Once you pay off your mortgage, you say, I'm debt free now, freedom flyer. So you put that eagle on top of your garage. And it's usually not made out of gold. It's like usually wood or iron or something. And but it's to show off to your neighborhood saying, hey, I'm debt free right now. So when he did that, he says 250th gift to the White House. And we all know that the White House, or the US government, is in $39 trillion of debt. It's very close to $40 trillion right now. And if you say, well, the White House is going to get a golden gift and it's going to be debt free now, then you would think, well, a golden gift that makes the White House debt free. What is that? So a lot of people thought two options. One, either US revalues its gold, or two, US issues new treasury debt bonds that is backed by gold or linked by gold. It might sound crazy right now, but what's the gold price right now? Just a rough guess.
I think it was like 3,700.
4,200.
4,200.
Close to 4,200. But do you know what is on the US government's books? You have your assets, and you have your debt. US owns 8,000 tons of gold, supposedly more than any country in the world by far. Like China only owns 2,000 tons of gold, supposedly. US official record owns 8,000 tons of gold. But per ounce, you just said, right? I just told you, and you just said roughly around 3,800 or 4,200, right? Around the 4,000 number. Guess what the number is on the US government's books?
What?
They value it at $42.
Wow.
Yeah, per ounce. So basically, it's 100x smaller than the actual value of gold right now. And you're like, why do they do that? Because it makes you. It's kind of like you go to the bank, because the US is always trying to borrow money, right? It's issuing, when you issue bonds, you're asking foreigners and banks and hedge funds to buy that piece of paper from you. You're like, buy my 30-year treasury bond, buy my 10-year treasury bond, buy $1 billion of this. You're borrowing money from people. Imagine going to the bank and the bank looks at you and says, bro, you owe $39 trillion. What assets do you have as a mortgage to offset this?
I mean, do you think if the US Treasury is marking the gold reserves to market value instead of like the decades old book value, does that meaningfully like change America's fiscal position, or what it's just is an accounting practice, or what is it?
Well, of course it would change America's debt situation, because when you go to if you apply for a loan with a bank manager, the bank manager will look at it and says, bro, you owe $39 trillion. What assets do you have that can be mortgaged against that? Yosemite? You want to mortgage Yosemite, the national park? And then you say, no, I have 8,000 tons of gold. The bank would look at that and say, wow, that's worth $4,000 per ounce multiplied by 8,000 tons. That's like $1.5 trillion. That's huge. But the US government, the guy who's trying to borrow the money, says, no, it's not worth that much. It's not worth $1.5 trillion. It's 100x smaller than that. So that would be $150 million. That's a crazy situation for a guy who's constantly trying to borrow money. He's trying to downplay how much gold he's got. The reason is this, because it was used to be officially valued at $42 per ounce. And then they could not, because the Vietnam War, the US government printed too much money under Richard Nixon, they could not redeem. For every 42 US dollars, they have to give you 1 ounce of gold. The French called the bluff. The French, it was always the French, came in with warships, 2 warships into New York Harbor and says, we want all our gold. Here is every US dollar we own. Boom. Like, here's 50, 100 million US dollars. Give us all the gold. And the Fed lost something like half its gold in that period, right? And every other country started following France, starting to want its gold back. So US government under Nixon said, temporarily, we're going to close the gold window. It's just temporary. And it's lasted like 50 years, right? So that's line number one. Line number two is they say to you, oh, well, look, it's 42 ounces. Like, gold's not worth anything. Like, trust in the US dollar, trust in the US Treasury bonds. Gold's not worth much. It's $42. And they've never revalued it. They've always said gold's worth $42. That's not worth $4,000. It's not worth $5,000. That's just speculators. Right? So they're playing this game, and it's looking more and more like that. Hey, Bitcoin is real. Bitcoin, you may not believe Bitcoin's worth $100,000, but right now it's at $60,000. Even if it crashes to $30,000, $40,000, that's still a lot of money for just one Bitcoin, right? Gold, $4,000, that's still a lot of money.
I mean, if Trump is in general, if you could revalue America's gold reserves,
yeah,
is that the biggest macro trade potentially of the next decade?
I think so. I absolutely think so. Like, so basically I'm trying to show you guys.
And also, what would happen if and also follow-up question here, if America revalued its gold tomorrow, what happens then with gold, Bitcoin, and the US dollar?
Great question.
And how does China look at it? That's it.
I've got this chart up right here, right now. Is it back to front?
Yeah, looks good.
Okay. So basically, this is where gold used to be worth compared to Bitcoin. Gold was worth a lot more compared to Bitcoin, right? Let me just turn it up so people can see it better. I'm just going to turn up the brightness. Yeah. So, like, gold used to be worth like $2,000 or $1,500, and Bitcoin was like less than $1. So gold measured in Bitcoin was a lot, and then Bitcoin took off, so gold got crushed. This is like, imagine a fraction number where gold is on top, gold price is on top, and Bitcoin is down the bottom. So gold got crushed, but as we know, everything goes in cycles, and now gold is trying to break out. It's never going to get up here again, but imagine just a small breakout. This is a logarithmic chart. If gold just does a small breakout, then that would mean gold would outperform Bitcoin in a very meaningful way. Like, I'll give you an example. So for example, gold goes to 20,000, Bitcoin goes to 20,000. Imagine that. Imagine 1-to-1. Imagine they go to a ratio of 1-to-1. Because right now, gold and Bitcoin ratio is something like one's $4,000, one's $60,000. So it's 15-to-1 right now. 15-to-1. So one Bitcoin buys you 15 ounces of gold, right? But imagine they go to 1-to-1 ratio, which is gold go to 20K, which is plausible within the next 5-10 years, and Bitcoin drop to 20K. That's always plausible, right? I know a lot of Bitcoin maxis and Bitcoin holders don't want to hear that, but what that chart is showing us is that potentially this part could break out. I think it's a trade of the decade. Let me show you guys one more thing. This is a crazy thing that's going on right now. Let me ask you this. What's the number one top gold or silver spot exchange in the world right now? When people quote gold or silver prices, they go, that's the spot price. When you go to a shop, when you go to a dealer, they quote you the spot price. What are they talking about? What's the price? Well, which exchange do they use? Are they quoting?
Which one?
Most people would think it's the New York futures exchange, COMEX. True, that's for the futures price. For the spot price, everybody in the world, it's a long traditional thing. It may not make sense to you, but they use the LBMA, which is the London Bullion Metals Association in London. Because London used to be the richest country, the richest city in the world. The British Empire was the superpower before America overtook them in World War II. but they've kept the spot price, like the actual spot price of gold in London, right? So here's the thing. LBMA has been setting the price of gold in the world for the last 120, 150 years. Yeah, 150 years. But now I really want to talk about this because something is about to change. Boom. Can you guys read that, or is that back to front?
Yeah, Hong Kong to launch long-awaited gold clearing and settlement system next week. Wow.
Is that back to front, or
You've been
you
talking
can
about
actually
that in
read
the
that?
Discord quite a bit, right?
Yeah. So most people, because
by the way, guys, we have a special offer right now. You get a 1 year annual membership to our trading community. We started in 2021. We run a few trading communities. Many of our competitors are long gone. We're there, last of the Mohicans. And it's a lot of exciting things going on as power shifts, as we potentially go into a multipolar world. You should Google what that means. And if you believe that thesis is accurate, you would benefit from our community as we discuss, politics and geopolitics as it pertains to the financial markets around the world. We're doing a 1 year offer. You get it for the price of 10 months. So you get 2 months free, and you get a great community. We got a fantastic team of analysts, coaches. We do monthly training, and a group of traders from all over the world where you can talk and discuss. And Pablo shares his insights. He's a passionate trader. He's in the markets. He's actually trading, and he's actually sharing what he's thinking and what he's working on. It's one of the best investments you can make if you're serious about trading from home, and you don't have to do it alone. We have a nice community. We'd welcome you. Go ahead, Pablo.
Yeah. Thank you. So for the Bitcoin, for the gold and silver guys, like if you are feeling down right now, if you feel like the market is down right now, then that's precisely the time to get in. I think we're at bottom. I think we're near bottom. We're at bottom already, right? This summer is basically bottom of Bitcoin, bottom of gold, bottom of silver, bottom of for a lot of things. And this is very significant because this organization, what they call gold clearing in Hong Kong, is basically trying to challenge LBMA. So LBMA, a lot of folks are probably surprised when I say that, because a lot of folks are like, why is the biggest gold exchange in the world in London? Like it's either going to be, if you were thinking off the top of your head, you'd be like, it's either in America because they're the richest, or it's in China because they're the second richest, where they're the challenger to the superpower, right? So you go London, like Britain, that's like number 4 or not. Britain's number 5th, number 6th largest GDP, because you got Japan, Germany, India ahead of Britain. Now, so yeah, it doesn't make sense. We spoke about this last time, but I just want to quickly ask you this, Nima. So, who's the largest gold producer in the world in terms of mining? Which country?
I don't know.
China. Who's the largest importer of gold in the world in terms of country?
China,
yes.
Yeah.
How much gold do they export?
I don't know.
It's pretty much zero.
Yeah, they used to be buying it. They're the biggest buyer of gold.
So think about this. They produce, like, is usually top 1 or top 2, depends on the year, most gold in the world in terms of mining. They don't export any of that, and yet they import the most in the world. Now, and what they've been doing the last 6 months is this. Last 3 months. So we only have the numbers for the first quarter, because the second quarter would come out numbers, because we're just started July. That would come out like in 1 or 2 weeks. So first quarter last year, like 70 something tons of gold. First quarter this year, 12 months later, they've bought like something like 316 tons. So 4.5x more, 4.5x more gold compared to this time last year. And this, I'd love to share with you guys how much they bought in 2 weeks when the April to June numbers, the second quarter, comes out. So what I'm trying to say is this. The official numbers are US holds 8,000 tons of gold. right, which they value at book value at $42. China holds 2,000 tons of gold, right? Which everybody, if you're a serious gold investor, everybody in the world knows that's a bullshit number. That's a fake number. They produce the most amount of gold in the world. They don't export any of it, and they've just been buying. They buy the most amount of the most amount of gold in the world, and now they've just been hoarding it without telling the world. And now they're about to start a gold and silver exchange that will rival the LBMA. That
Wow.
the most amount of gold in the world, import, export, trading will now happen in Hong Kong.
Well, if China's mining the most gold, if it's importing the most gold, and it barely exports any of it, what is it that China knows that no one else does?
Put simply, it is this. Okay, I'm gonna introduce this topic to you by showing you the tweet from U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, and he just tweeted this for America's 250th birthday. Like, you don't have to read every word of it, but essentially what he's saying is that this is a new $100 bill. Do you see the signature there next to the shoulder of Benjamin Franklin? It's signed by Donald himself, and basically he says the U.S. dollar is so strong. We're so strong. U.S. dollar is so strong. We're carrying to a place of strength. Like, my question is to use this: do you ever see Mike Tyson come out and say, I'm the best fighter in the world, I'm just the best, Like, do you ever see Michael Jordan come out and say, GOAT, GOAT, I'm still around because what's his name? That Lakers guy. That's why he crashed and died. I'm the best ever. That's why he crashed and died in a helicopter. Kobe, right? You never see that, because if you're the champ and if you feel secure you're the champ, you don't need to come out and say stuff like that. Like, did you ever see George W. Bush? What's his name? The Bill Clinton, Bush Senior, or Gerald Ford, and come out and say the U.S. dollar is the strongest currency in the world. You never hear that. You can't find a single speech where they say that.
The thing is in the United States, there's this, like, a lot of the Trump supporters, they're in a bubble. Like, they can't see that, like, right now, Iran, China, Qatar, Russia, they look at Trump as an idiot that basically couldn't even pull a W. They thought they were going to just walk all over Iran. They couldn't. And that now it's just, there's this, like, block where they can hold the Democrats accountable. They can't hold the Republicans accountable. And it's bad. It's embarrassing, honestly. To your point, you're right. I mean,
I'm glad that you took the words out of my mouth, because, like, I wouldn't have said it in such a direct fashion, because it would get people triggered. I'm not here to trigger anyone.
I'm American. I say this. I think it's a tragedy that we got to this point, man. But yeah, you're saying.
Okay, so the gold situation is like this. So basically, if you're China, if you're Japan, if you are Great Britain, if you're Australia, if you're Canada, if you're Saudi Arabia, all these foreign countries, you trade with America, or you trade, for example, Australia. You trade with the rest of the world. You sell iron ore, you sell wine, you sell Australian beef and dairy to a lot of other countries. So you make a lot of money, and people pay you not in Australian dollars, but people pay you in US dollar, right? And so what do you do with that US dollar? You have to park it somewhere, right? The problem is you have to, most of the time, people park that 99% of the time in US Treasury bonds, US Treasury bonds. And what happens is China, since Biden did this, so just to show that I'm not just against Republicans, where I'll say something not good about the Democrats as well. Biden basically kind of oversaw the war of Ukraine, and he basically 4 months into it, he snatched all the Russian foreign currency FX reserves, right, from the Russian exports of selling oil and natural gas, and he froze it. So the Russians had like 80 billion or 120 billion dollars from selling oil, selling natural gas, and they couldn't touch it. So now people are like, oh, so it's not safe to keep your money in US Treasury bonds and US dollars. Because if you are the enemy, or if US doesn't like you for some reason, after 20 years of normal trading, suddenly they could just freeze your money. So if you're Australia, if you're China, you have lots of export surplus. What do you do with it? So even before that date, even before US froze the Russian foreign exchange funds, China has been buying gold. It's saying China basically earns about 500 billion to 1 trillion, which is 1,000 billion worth of US dollars a year from export. They just export a lot. And then they're like, well, if we ever put this all into US dollars, guess what's going to happen? What happened to Russia could happen to China. So they've gone, what's one thing you can trust? They've basically gone to two things. They've basically said you either buy gold with it, or you invest in something that it's going to be useful in the future. So it becomes, we've heard of the Belt and Road Project. Belt meaning, road meaning the Silk Road. They're trying to recreate the Silk Road, and the belt, the naval, the marine belt, meaning the shipping lanes to trade with the Middle East or with Europe, right? The Marco Polo, the Silk Road. So basically, if China has $1 trillion, which is how much US dollars it made last year through exporting in surplus, it would probably put like 1/5 of that into gold, and another half of that, 50% of that, into buying mines, buying minerals in nickel mines in Indonesia, buying iron ore mines in Australia, buying oil facilities in Qatar, buying natural gas facilities in Saudi Arabia. It spends its money that way, so then it's not holding like $1 trillion of this, which US can freeze at any moment. And it's not just China. A lot of countries are starting to do that as well, and that's why we're seeing this bullish run right now in the gold.
What do you think Beijing, like the policymakers in Beijing, what do you think they learned from that sanction on Russia's foreign reserves? I mean, they also did it to Iran's foreign. They've also for Iran's money too. But what would you say? How do you think China looks at that?
They feel like that's a vindication. They were like, their thinking is, well, we were already buying gold secretly and not telling everyone about it. On the surface, they're like, oh yeah, buy US Treasury bonds. Yeah, that's the safest thing in the world. Secretly, they're like, never export any gold, import them as much gold as you can, right? And mine as much gold as you can. And then once the Russian thing happened, you could literally see them accelerate. A lot of countries like Poland, Uzbekistan, so a number of countries, not NATO countries, but a lot of other countries, publicly, Middle Eastern countries as well, accelerated their gold buying because they were like, oh, we were right. This confirms our suspicion all along. It's not safe. If US doesn't like you one day, they could take everything.
Yeah.
So that's, if central banks are buying, then that's a big driver for gold price.
I mean, do you see a correlation between the hoarding of gold? I mean, they got so much of our U.S. debt, and then after this embarrassing failure, let's say by Trump to get a victory in Iran, largely viewed as a failure. Iran's more emboldened. I think China's more emboldened. But I want to ask you: do you think at this point, if you were a trader and you were looking at the next several years, would you bet that if China goes to take back Taiwan, they go to take back Taiwan, and when they take back, do you think that when they take back Taiwan, they're more confident that America will do nothing, especially with a Democrat in office? And if the answer is yes to that, what should the trader or the investor right now say? Okay, I'm going to buy this, or I'm not going to buy this, if that's what you're betting on.
That's a brilliant question, because I have the exact answer for you. Okay. Now here, okay, ahead, here is you don't have to.
I want stuff. Mainstream news is not going to give me in the West, brother. That's why I love having you as my partner. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Here
5 years, more than 5 years actually. Yeah. Go ahead. Partner.
Here is basically what Ray Dalio said, and it blew me away because I thought Ray Dalio would be. He's went even further than what I would say publicly or even privately. He's more confident than myself. He calls it the New World Order. That's Ray Dalio. I keep on getting Twitter pop-ups. Yeah, Ray Dalio. His latest article. I hope folks can go and read that. The New World Order, and he's basically saying what Nima was saying, which is, how you just said the word multipolar, because unipolar, uni means one, polar means one pole, like the you have the North Pole and the South Pole. It basically means one superpower. That's United States. Bipolar won't, like North Pole, South Pole, basically means you have US and China, or US and Soviet Union, right? Multipolar won't means you have US, China, the European Union, and then maybe Saudi Arabia creates a bloc inside the Middle East, and you have 4 or 5 of these blocks that trade with each other, and hopefully they don't start any wars with anyone. So I'm just gonna quickly show you this, what he wrote in that article. I'm gonna read you one sentence, and he already answered that question about Taiwan. Just under the highlighted bit, he says, now it's inconceivable that the US public would have any appetite to get involved in Taiwan. Oh, sorry. If to get involved in Taiwan if China was to make a move.
Yeah, because bro, like I just feel like after this, I mean, if I don't think I think that Americans don't want it. So if I'm betting on that, if I'm betting that China goes back and says, you know what, I'm taking back my land. I'm taking back my land, Taiwan. They're coming back home. Taiwan's coming back home. And I'm an American trader, investor. What should I buy? What should I buy right now? What would you suggest? What's the trade you're making? Pablo's making on this? If that thesis is true, Ray Dalio says this, Pablo says this, Nima says this. If that's what should we prepare for? What are we looking at to buy? And what are we looking at to short? Because that could happen any day at this point, right? Like I would imagine when a Democrat comes in office, this could probably be like 2-3 years away, bro. Like a Democrat comes in office, that's it. These guys have these. I look like China's just like ready. They're just every quarter they're getting more and more ready to go back and take their land back, right?
There's a Wall Street billionaire with whom I respect a lot, as much as Ray Dalio. They call him the Bond King. So he's king of trading bonds. He's the king of bonds. His name is Jeffrey Gundlach. If you can do a search, I would like to show folks what he just said. Gundlach. That's his name, Gundlach. And if you search for the keywords, buy foreign stocks, maybe the article will pop up. Essentially what he said is, he said about 2 weeks ago or 1 week ago, he said in an interview, they asked him pretty much the same question as what you're asking me. And he says, what I would do is, he says it in 2 parts, and it's shocking to me. He says, 1, buy foreign stocks, international stocks, emerging market stocks, get out of US equity. And 2, he says, don't hedge your foreign currency exposure. Because the shocking part is that he says don't hedge. Usually people try to be safe and they say, well, you got to hedge your foreign exchange exposure. He says don't hedge. What that literally means is, and he explains it, he thinks the US dollar is going down. He says US dollar is in a secular decline, not a cyclical decline. Like cyclical means it's a cycle. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. Every 80 years or so, US dollar goes up and then it goes down. It goes up, it goes down. But he's saying it's a secular decline, which basically means it basically just goes down. Like, it's wavy. It's up and down, up and down, up and down. But overall, the path over the next 10 or so years is down. That's what Jeffrey Gundlach is saying. Now, so I understand that your audience is mainly like right-wing MAGA supporters, pro-Trump, and I'm not trying to trigger anyone, but you've got Ray Dalio, right? You've got Jeffrey Gundlach. These are patriots, American patriots. And Jeffrey Gundlach, he sells more US government bonds than probably anyone we know, because that's why he's called the Bond King. And even he's saying buy US stocks, buy foreign stocks, and don't even bother to hedge the foreign exchange risk because US dollar is going down. It's a secular decline over the next number of years. Like, I think he's kind of on the right track. I still would hold US stocks. I think US stocks will still do well. But I would say for your audience, for folks who are, there are a lot of people who are crypto only, who are only into Bitcoin. I think that's a mistake. Gold and silver could outperform. there are a lot of people in your audience and my audience who are US stocks only. If you talk to them about China or Hong Kong stocks, they're just not interested. And that's a mistake. That's a mistake, right? European stocks, Japanese stocks, Korean stocks, a lot of them have been doing really well. Like if you look at Japan, Korea, Taiwan, those stock markets have been doing really well because their stocks are involved in the semiconductors industry because AI is going up right now. So a lot of those semiconductor industries doing really well. So it's a mistake just to only look at US stocks or only Bitcoin or only crypto. So you have these legends saying already, look outside of America, look at international stocks, right? Look at gold, look at silver. And both of them, oh yeah, by the way, both Ray Dalio and Gundlach said this. Ray Dalio says 15% of your portfolio in gold, right? Ray Gundlach, that's Ray Dalio. Gundlach actually says, he says 25% of your portfolio in gold. And he says, I don't think that's a overestimation. I don't think that's overweight. If you have 25% of your portfolio, say you have $1 million, 250,000, plunk that in gold. I don't think that's too much. We could even do more. So they've already given us the numbers. They've already given us the numbers they feel comfortable with, and I think that's a good guide. Like, and if you come into our Discord, I'll give you a more specific stocks and or cryptos or gold and gold mining names and silver mining names, even platinum and lithium miners. We talk about that and discuss that in our Discord as well. And as you know, right now, if you want more of great knowledge and insight on what's happening in the world right now, come in, and Nima and myself are and other instructors are in the Discord. And right now we have a 1-year offer, but you only have to pay the price of 10 months to get that full 12-month offer. Check it out.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, this is we're back later this week or next week to do another podcast. Join our community, like Pablo said. We're doing a special 1-year offer for the price of 1 year. You only pay 10 months. So join our community, get a 1-day free trial too. We're pretty confident in what we offer. And please like, share, and subscribe this podcast. Thank you, Pablo.
Okay. Thank you for your time as well. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Bye-bye.
Catch you guys. Bye-bye.